Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be looking at the Lichtlaerm Audio King in Yellow Overdrive pedal. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I got this pedal in and I was really excited about it because it's one of those pedals that has such hype built around it, and you know, every demo I've seen, everything that anybody's ever talked about it, it's just like the ultimate, you know, overdrive pedal. And I gotta say, after working with it for like about a week or two, it is a very well done, well-rounded, and probably the best investment you would make for a high gain overdrive pedal out of any of the ones that I've really found on the market. Now, that's pretty lofty praise, and you know, why is that? Well, a lot of it has to do with just the amount of control and the amount of available tonality that comes out of this pedal. So here I have the pedal set up on my little overdrive board here. It's kind of, you know, snuggled in between a handful of overdrive pedals that I've come to really enjoy. And so let me just go over some of the control features real quick on this pedal, and I'll try to kind of take a zoom in shot of, you know, the face of this just so you can kind of follow along. So up top here, you know, you'll see that there's a level and a gain. In the middle, there's this big knob called blend. And then on either side of that, you have a polarity switch and a three-way clipping switch. And then in the very middle, there's all these tiny knobs that basically give you control over 4 bands of the EQ. Now, from what I understand, this is a proprietarily built EQ. Everything's been dialed in by Lichtlaerm Audio to kind of optimize the tones that are in this pedal. And I gotta say that the amount of control that you get on the mid-range on this thing is pretty fantastic. So zooming out, what I have here, you know, I have the level and the gain up at noon. I have the blend all the way to the left here because that's basically the pedals fully on. And then I have the clipping circuit to the left, and polarity is not flipped right now. I also have the EQ completely at noon as well. Now I gotta go over a couple things that each of these things really are doing here. Level and gain, they kind of explain themselves. Level is your volume and gain is the amount of saturation that you're going to be introducing through the clipping circuit. The blend knob is cool because it basically blends your dry tone in with the wet tone of the pedal. Now, there is a send and return jack on this pedal, and you can actually run parallel effects with this pedal and blend them into the sound of the pedal. And the polarity switch allows you to flip the phase on that incoming signal, so if you're getting any kind of weird kind of cancellation effects, flipping the phase will alleviate that, or you might actually like the sound of having a little bit of, you know, phase distortion, phase combing, whatever you want to call it, introduced into your sound. That's up to you. I tend to keep the blend knob completely to the left because I don't really have anything running into the effects loop. With the clipping circuits, this really reminds me of the Earthquaker Devices plumes because of how these clipping circuits sound. And I assume, because there's not a whole lot of information on the internet about what these clipping circuits are, but I assume all the way to the left, you're getting kind of a hard clipping circuit that's slightly compressed. In the middle seems to be a very wide open, you know, no clipping kind of boost circuit. And then all the way to the left here, or all the way to the right, I should say, it seems to be very much like a tube screamer clipping circuit, a very soft clipping circuit. You can kind of hear a little bit of the dry guitar sound mixed in with the clipping. So I do kind of want to demonstrate what those clipping circuits sound like on a clean channel, just so you can get the idea. And to do that, today what I'm going to run is both my EVH Stealth and my triple rectifier. This will be on the red channel, and this will be on the blue channel mainly. And I'm going to be switching back and forth using the Mesa Boogie head track. So I'm basically going to run this pedal into both amps, and it's going to be going through the same cab as I switch A and B. Now if I go to the middle position, immediately it's louder, it's a bit more open, there's not any real compression happening because you're not getting that high-end kind of fizz. if I go over to position 3 or all the way to the right, you're getting that, you know, really classic tube screamer kind of mixed in sound. Personally, I like the middle position, but position 1 is also, or the left position is also a really good sound as well. Okay, so now I have the blue channel engaged on the EVH. Here's what it sounds like with no boost. And by the way, I'm running the Fishman Fluence Mick Thompson set that I just installed in this guitar. If you want to see a video on that, I'll link it up here. But a pretty standard kind of chunky, high gain thing, but it's not too over the top. This is where the boost comes in. So I'm going to keep the level and gain at noon. It's probably going to be a little bit much for this, but I just want to hear what it sounds like. And I'm in the middle position of the clipping circuit. Yeah, with the gain up that high, it's a little bit much for, you know, just boosting an already gained out circuit. So gain down, I'm going to turn the level up just a little bit. I'm not going to mess with EQ yet. Let's see what this sounds like. Turn the level all the way up. So right away, I think that's how this pedal is meant to be run when you're going in front of a high gain amp. Just like any other real boost kind of pedal or overdrive pedal that you use as a boost, you're going level up, gain down, and then I'm fully blended. Let me go to the clipping circuit on the left. And so what I'm hearing in the room with that is the middle position, very open, very punchy. You go to the right, or to the left, I mean. I'm going to keep messing that up. You go to the left, and you get a little bit less punch, but a little bit more of the top-end saturation kind of going on, a little more squishiness. Keeping it in the middle. Let me switch over to the Mesa Boogie on the red channel. Running the same settings. And that's why the Mesas do really well with the boost. They just really come alive. If I turn off the boost, honestly, this triple rec, even though it's one of the first 3-channel revisions, I don't feel like it's that spongy of an amp. I think it has a good amount of punch. It doesn't have a whole lot of presence. The way I like to set it, it's a little bit more modern, but at the same time, it's not quite as modern as the EVH. Either way, with the boost on, we're starting to get there. So the other thing with this pedal, and I'm going to keep it on the Mesa Boogie for right now, this EQ is really where the magic happens. If you want a little bit more high mid, bump that high mid up a little bit, and if you want a little bit less thuddy kind of low mids, scale back the low mids, and you get a pretty drastic change. I like to have the high mids just bumped a little bit. Having it all the way up is a little bit too much. So I bump it kind of more in the like 1 to 2 o'clock range. The low mids, you know, I don't mind having them in the middle for the most part. But if you want to scale them back to get a little bit more of that like kind of woofy kind of, you know, you turn it all the way down, I guess. That really makes the cab kind of fart out a little bit because it gives you that like whoomp, whoomp, whoomp sound. So I like to have it more like in the middle. The highs, I mean, highs and lows, I kind of keep them in the middle. I don't want to accentuate too much. I'd rather save it for the amp, but with the clipping circuit, go over to the left. Now, with that mid bump a little bit, I do kind of like position 1 or the left a little bit more with that kind of top end saturation. Let me go ahead and switch back over to the EVH. Okay, so on the EVH, you turn the low mids down, you get this really kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's kind of a more modern, bitey tone. Almost genty. High mid up. Too much, too much. For like real extended range stuff, I could see that being very useful, getting some of that low mid out of there. I don't think I like it that much. I think I like it better on this amp than the Mesa, though. Just a little bit of a cut there. If I boost the lows and cut the low mids... I don't know, I like that sound a lot, actually. Mainly because the blue channel on the EVH doesn't have a whole lot of low end, and even with the resonance control up a bit, it lacks a little bit of that, like, that real sub-low feel that the Mesa has. So if I go back to the Mesa, the bass is probably going to be a bit much. Yeah, you gotta keep the low end back on the Mesa, because otherwise you get a bit of mud. Yeah, I mean, that's just really nice. I'll keep the low mid back on there. Let me bump the high mids. Clipping in the middle. I'm wondering if I like the clipping circuit in the middle on the Mesa a little bit more because it just keeps it less compressed. Whereas with that clipping circuit to the left on the EVH, works better with that gain circuit. I don't know. I'm kind of making this up as I go, so just bear with me. Okay, so I like that actually on the EVH. So what I have is the clipping circuit in the middle, the low mids bumped back a little bit, and I put the high mid back in the middle, and I gave it a little bit of a high end. Kept the lows down. I don't know, I really like that. I guess I'll do a quick comparison with these other pedals just to kind of, you know, go through it. So right now I have the Lichtlaerm set up how I like it. Let me go over to the Boss SD1. This is like the must-have pedal for everybody. You know, for a $60 pedal, can't really beat it. Maybe the tone scaled back a little bit. It does cut out a bit of the low end. I think that's why it's really good for the Mesa. Let me go over to that. Yeah, it's a perfect pedal for the Mesa, especially if you're on a budget and you're just looking for something really straightforward. I've really grown to love both the Tempest and the Blade in their own right. I did a video on these two pedals, and I'll link that up here. I was going to get rid of one or the other, and then I ended up keeping both. So the Blade... So mean, so over the top. This cut function is great, you know, good pedal too. The Tempest Drive. Also very aggressive, very easy to control. And these can kind of be set it and forget it type pedals. But I do find myself going between different amps that these pedals do need a little bit more tweaking and dialing in. Especially the Blade. The Blade is very sensitive to whatever you're putting in front of. Lichtlaerm. This is one of the only pedals where I feel like giving it just a little bit of gain kind of helps it out and really kind of gives you a little bit more depth of sound. Let me go back over to the EVH. Yeah, I don't know. I really like how that EQ behaves, and you just need a little bit of gain to give this clipping circuit just a little bit more grit. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly kind of touch on this pedal and kind of how it's kind of risen to the top of the heap when it comes to high gain, just, you know, call it boutique, call it kind of independent, because the company is an independent company. The pedal isn't necessarily a cheap pedal by any means, but for what you get and the type of technology that you're getting and the support, it's somewhat unrivaled. So I would say stamp of approval on the Lichtlaerm Audio King in Yellow. I've heard some people say it's my favorite overdrive ever. Am I ready to say that? Not necessarily. I think it's probably as good, if not, you know, maybe a little bit better than some of these, or especially some that I've played. But I can't really find a flaw with it. I really wish I could try out the send return function, but I really have no pedals really meant for that or any kind of real use for that. So it's a cool feature. Probably won't use it. Either way, this will probably stay on my board permanently, and you know, there you have it. So leave your comments below if you thought I was wrong. If you thought one of these other pedals sounded better, let me know. If you think this pedal is great, cool. If you think it sucks, that's on you, sure. Either way, I'll see you guys later.